Racket Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is We Are Slaves, but the Racket Shall End. Now, I was meditating on this from yesterday, and I was able a little while ago to put, some couple of precepts together, a couple of things, and Lord's will we're going to get into, and Lord's will it'll be an edifying lesson. But that's, the title is We Are Slaves, but the Racket Shall End. A couple of lessons ago, we went into speaking on the 13th Amendment and how in the 13th Amendment, involuntary slavery should not exist, in so-called America because of the so-called Emancipation Proclamation, which allegedly, did away with the slaves, which that's a joke in itself. But they did nothing but the word emancipate means to trade from one hand, someone's hands to another hand, from one hand to another. So it went from southern plantations to northern corporations, which are nothing more than plantations. And what happened was, through the 14th Amendment, which we're going to read some of that, they made what's called a contractual slave. Now, a contractual slave is someone that agrees to become someone's servant based off of, signing an agreement, signing a covenant, signing a contract, and that's how they become servants, because that's voluntary. The 13th Amendment doesn't speak anything about being voluntary. It speaks about involuntary. The only way that they could actually make a slave out of someone is if, they commit a crime. And this is why when you see that people that are in prison, they work for slave wages, some of them might get $2 to make something, whatever the wages are. And that's because of the provision in the 14th Amendment that, you can have that type of slavery if someone commits a crime. And that goes into a whole nother topic. Esau was using that loophole to, to make Jake, to lock Jake up so that they can be slaves once again, because they know that they lost that free slave, to the so-called, Emancipation Proclamation, which, like I said, Jake went from the southern plantations to the northern corporations, which is nothing different except for the northern corporations made Jake slaves, by contract, and made them believe they were free, when they're not. Now, what I want to start off with, I don't really have that many precepts, that many scriptures, but Lord's will, if the Lord gives me more precepts to go into the lesson, we'll bring out more. I may interact a little more with the comment board, Lord's will, to get this out. But what I wanted to start off with is, we were given a contract. The Bible is a big, large contract. You have certain contracts that they call phone book contracts. What I mean by that is there's a contract is that thick, or a application could be that thick, and they call it a phone book. So the Bible is a thick contract that the Most High made with us, with all different types of stipulations, which we're going to read about. And this is why we're bound to keep it, because we agreed to do this. All right? So let's go to Psalms 147 and 19. It says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So no other nation falls under the contract of the Bible except for the nation of Israel. And this is a binding document, and this is why you read certain scripture law where these words are going to be a witness against us, you know, and it has been. And that's when we read through the curses of Deuteronomy 28, which do not apply to white people unless those white looking people might be Israelites or are Israelites. It does not apply to Amalek. It doesn't apply to any other nation but the nation of Israel. The curses in Deuteronomy 28. And it said that these curses would be a witness, or would be upon us and our children, from generation to generation. And that's one of the sure ways that we know who Israelites are, because of the curses that come upon people of the Lord. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It matters if you are an Israelite or not. And it's not a spiritual Israelite. It's an Israelite according to the flesh, So now we go to Psalm 78 and 5. It says, "For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children." So this is a binding contract, a binding living document that bound us to the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And we're going to read what that signature was. But before we read that, let's read one more. Psalms chapter 50, verse 5. "Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." And that's what happened. When you have a testament, as it says in the New Testament, in the book of Hebrews, the 9th chapter, there is the person that wrote the will or the testament, and there are provisions in there that this and that and so will be given to this person, and this portion or this amount will be given to that person, and this person will be given to so and that person. Then after the will is finished or the testament is finished, the person that made the testament writes, or the testator, he writes or signs it, and that's a binding legal contract. Now, the binding legal contract cannot come into force until after that person is dead. And that's when the people, the inheritors, can get the provisions of that contract. So we go to Hebrews chapter 9. It says, right, let's start at 14. Start at 13. "For if the blood of bulls and of goats, and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh," because this was the binding of the first contract, was if we mess up, break any of the Lord's laws, there were certain animals, clean animals, depending on what it was, it's the severity of the crime, that their blood was shed in order to receive an amendment or forgiveness for whatever crime was committed. So it says, if that was sanctified to the purifying of the flesh, the blood of these animals, how much more shall the blood of Yahushai, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to the Most High, because the Lord wants a sacrifice that is unspotted, unblemished. All right. So how shall the blood of Yahushai, right, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living power? And that's what what it boils down to. We are cleaned now through Yahushai, the words that he spoke, the sacrifice that he made. He said, "Now you clean through the words which I have spoken." And the blood of Yahushua is what cleansed us, because we could not keep the first contract. It tells you that Jeremiah 31. It tells you that in Hebrews, the 8th chapter, we could not keep the contract fully, because that contract, the flesh that we have, does not allow us the righteousness that it takes to be linked with the laws, because the law is holy and true, and our flesh is weak. So that's why Yahushua had to come on the scene to become the ultimate sacrifice, so that we can have a better chance, right? It says, "For this cause He is the mediator of the New Testament, which is the second covenant, that by means of death for the redemption of the transgressions, that's our transgressions, that were under the first testament. Why? Because we entered into a contract, into an agreement with the Lord, which we're going to go and read that. That bound us to the contract, and we had to keep every provision in this contract. Otherwise, we'll be, indebted to the Heavenly Father. It says, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance. For where a testament is, there must also of necessity be the death of the testator. And that's why Yahushua had to sacrifice his life and shed his blood. Because when we go back, which we're going to get, Lord's will, after this, the contract was signed by the blood of animals. So those animals were alive. They were set aside, sanctified, killed, and the blood was sprinkled, in the order that the Lord wanted it to be sprinkled. The altar, the books, the people, and that's what sealed the deal. Okay, it says, for a testament is a force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. See? Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood. For when Moses had spoken every precept, matter of fact, we don't even have to go to it because it's right here. For when Moses had spoken every precept, see, this is the point. The Lord called Moses aside with certain top men and the 70. Then the Lord set Moses aside, gave Moses a set of laws, gave him instructions, and he took these laws and he went to the people. He spoke it to the people. Our forefathers agreed, and what happened? The blood was of these particular animals were shed, and that blood being shed, sprinkled on the altar, sprinkled, on the book, sprinkled on the people, is what made the contract binding. Just like today, someone's signature makes this contract binding, right? It says, for when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people. You see? Saying, this is the blood of the testament which the Most High hath enjoined unto you. See? Matter of fact, I want to take a look at that word enjoined. I mean, we know what it means, but that is, that was a spirit. That's a spirit, because I wasn't even thinking about this particular scripture, but the Lord brought it out because it's all on him. He's working, baby. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that is. All right, so let's go to Hebrews. Hebrews, just bear with me. Hebrews chapter 9. And what verse was that? 20. And we'll read it again. Saying, this is the blood of the testament which the Most High hath enjoined unto you. Matter of fact, before we go to the word enjoined, let's go to the word testament. It says, diatheke, a disposition, arrangement of any sort, which one wishes to be valid. The last disposition which one makes of his earthly possessions after his death, a testament or will. It says a compact, a covenant, a testament, God's covenant with Noah, etc. And the Most High made a covenant with who? With the nation of Israel. And there were certain provisions in that contract, that binded us once we took the oath and we agreed. And then the blood of the animals was shed, that sealed the deal. So the words written are actually the witness against us. All right? So now let's go to the word enjoined. The word enjoined is entelomahi. To order, command to be done, enjoin. To enjoin, which pretty much that's what made it a force, and that's what joined us to him. So let's read that again. saying, this is the blood of the testament which the Most High hath enjoined unto you. This is what the Lord gave to us. This is what he commanded us. You know, let's go real quick to the word enjoin in the offline dictionary, common dictionary. Just bear with me. Enjoin. Issue an injunction, give instructions to or direct somebody to do something with authority. And that was the actual command from the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Right, so let's read this again. It says, saying, this is a Hebrews 9 and 10 and 20, saying, this is the blood of the testament which the Most High hath enjoined unto you. Moreover, he sprinkled with blood both the tabernacle and all the vessels of the ministry, and almost all things are by the law purged with blood, and without shedding of blood is no remission. It says, it was therefore necessary that the patterns of things in the heavens should be purified with these, but the heavenly things themselves with better sacrifices than these. For Yahushua is not entered into the holy places made with hands, which are the figures of the true. Yeah, because the Lord told Moses, make sure that you make everything precisely how you seen it, because the Most High is very particular about everything that he does. It says, but into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of the Most High for us, nor yet that he should offer himself often, as the high priest entereth into the holy place every year with the blood of others. For then must he often have suffered since the foundation of the world, but now once in the end of the world hath he appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. And he's not going to keep coming back down here. He did it once and that's it. All right. So that was the binding contract. Right now, let's go and get a couple of precepts before we go to the next point. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes. So we entered into contract with the Lord, as far as, the law, statutes, and commandments are concerned. It was signed by blood. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse 4. It says, when thou vowest a vow unto the Most High, defer not to pay it, for he had no pleasure in fools. Pay that which thou hast vowed. And we made a vow. The Moses read everything in the audience of the people. And what did our forefathers do? They agreed. And how was it signed? By blood. It says, better it is that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. Suffer not thy mouth to cause thy flesh to sin, neither say thou before the angel that it was an error. Wherefore should the Most High be angry at thy voice and destroy the work of thine hands? So that's the bottom line. Don't vow a vow unless you could keep the vow, because that's what happened. We vowed the vow to the Lord, and we were not able to keep it. But we understand that we couldn't keep it because of the flesh, So now one more precept on that topic, and then we're going to move to the next topic. This is the book of Numbers 20, and this is all centered off a situation or situations that are going on in the world today. But let's get through this, and then we'll get to it. Numbers 30. Woo, boy. Numbers 30 and 1. And Moses spake unto the heads of the tribes concerning the children of Israel, saying, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. If a man vow a vow unto the Lord, or swear an oath to bind his soul with a bond, he shall not break his word. He shall do according to all that proceedeth out of his mouth. This is why it's not good to make hasty vows, because you have to keep in mind that, we in the flesh. So there's going to be certain things in the flesh that we're not going to be able to do, or keep, but this is why the Most High also is understanding, merciful, long suffering, will forgive us, but whatever the situation may be, you have to take it up between the Father and yourself, you see. But anyways, let's move on. Now, what I want to do is, there's a situation going on in the world today, especially here in America. I'm not really sure how it plays out in other countries because they follow the harlot. But I'm talking about this darling of the courts called child support. Now, this right here, for you panty wearing simps, you know, you are you are sweet, moist muffin individuals out there. You are I gotta say it like it is. You pussy begging pieces of shit out there. You little simp, emotional twats out there. This is gonna be very offensive to you. So I suggest you a fair warning through the spirit to change the channel and go somewhere else, because you're not gonna like what's gonna come out. You know, because this world caters to women, and you women, the majority of you women, you're gonna be put back in your motherfucking place. All right. You're going to be put back in your fucking place because you got a racket going on with the serpent, going all the way back to the garden. And now you playing, on the emotions, and on just the man in general, and you're going to be put back in your place. The Most High is about to bring judgment on you hoes too. Don't think you're going to escape. The Most High is coming to bring judgment. And a lot of you fucking women, you done bought into that feminism. You done bit into that forbidden fruit of lies that was given to you by Esau, the so-called white man, spoon-fed, fork-fed, cut up into little chunks with the knife, and put into your mouth, and you swallow that shit down, and you push that madness on the world. Talking about you so-called black women, you Latino women, you Native American Indian women, you white women too and all that, but the hell with y'all. We're dealing with the Israelite woman right now. You're going to be put back in your goddamn place. A lot of you women out there loose, promiscuous, low-life scum pieces of shit. I'm going to put it to you just like it is. There's this one bitch got on there talking about, why should I have 6 children with one man and only get such and such and such when I can have 6 children by 6 different men and get 6 different checks? Which shows you it's all a racket. It's a money-making scheme. And this is how Esau looks at it also. Because there's a numbering system in the courts. And the numbers are 0 to 5. And the court gets the number according to how many men they put on child support. Anywhere from 0 to 5. And of course, they want the highest number because they want to get paid the most money. Because if you have a woman, if a man and a woman for some reason can't work out their differences and split, they should be grown enough to where they should be able to work out a deal between them if they have children, to take care of the children. It shouldn't have to be left to no devil to put this oppressive shit on you, to make a man, to pretty much take all your shit. They don't care if you can't live. They don't care if you can't afford your bills because the child support is too high, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. They do not care. A man is not important in this world. It's all about the women in this world. Everything caters to these women, and you're about to be put down. Every last one of you that's in that mindset, in that feminist mindset of destroying men. So with all that being said and done, let's go. I want to start off with the 14th Amendment, because we've been speaking about the 14th Amendment. We've been speaking about how it's a contractual amendment, but technically what it is, it's a jurisdiction issue. Now, jurisdiction can only be put upon somebody by them agreeing to it, That's why when we read let me start off with the 13th Amendment. It says, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And that's the key. Jurisdiction. There's a whole thing that goes along with the jurisdiction. I'm not an expert at any of this law stuff. I just know a few things about a couple of things, okay? So don't ask me, what? You got to do the research yourself if you're really that interested. All right? So the point is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, but it said nothing about voluntary servitude. And it spoke about what? Being subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. That's why everyone is what? A U.S. citizen. How do you become a U.S. citizen? By being naturalized or by being born. When you're born here, you have what? What's the very first document that is signed on your behalf, unbeknownst to you, when you're born in this country or this corporation, a birth certificate. And that is a binding contract that makes you a slave to the masters, which in this case would be the international banking families. So by that signature and that document, you become a slave. Right? Now we go to the 14th Amendment. It says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. See, Esau has a way to play with words. It says certain different things, certain key words, and every time you read certain laws and things of that nature, it's always open-ended. It's never really particular. And they want it that way because it's left to the interpretation of the judges, in the courts. And you know who the judges work for. That's why they wear the black gowns, because they worship in Saturnalia, so on and so forth. So who do you think they're going to judge for? Every once in a while, there might be a little technicality here and there where they got to let somebody go just to make it seem like it's fair. But at the end of the day, they all work for the bankers. So it says all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. And the thing is that when you sign these contracts, birth certificates, social security numbers, your driver's license, any adhesion contract, it binds you to the jurisdiction of this corporation called America. And you become a slave. That's why it says in the book of Exodus 21, which you're going to get real quick, this is what Esau is guilty of. That's why the scriptures in the New Testament, in the book of James, said, "How ye rich men, for your miseries that shall come upon you." Because you got a racket going, man. You got a racket going, man. You got to give it to you, goddamn devils, you goddamn serpents, you snakes. You got the world in an oppressive state, a racket going, and you got people thinking that it's really, an official, authentic thing. You're locking people up for not complying with certain things when all you're doing is not, everything that you do is by fraud, oppression, gain, and not righteously. It's one thing to make money. Scriptures say money answers all things, and money is a defense. There's nothing wrong with making money, but it's the way you make it. And you devils that got the world in the trick back. That's why the name of the lesson is, we are slaves, but the racket shall end. And you women, boy, especially you Israelite women, oh boy, those of you that are in that feminist spirit, so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Indian women, you're going to feel the wrath of the Lord soon, man. The Lord is going to turn you inside out. Now, let's go from there to Exodus 21. Now, this is for you punk, panty, simp-ass clowns out there. You're going to get emotional, like you always do. Just like you got emotional about the rape thing that the Bible speaks about. You are the westernized, panty-wearing simps of this society. Especially you Israelite men. That's what I'm talking to. The hell with the rest of you clowns. Talking about you Israelite men, you so-called black men, so-called Latino men, so-called Native American Indian men. You got to be the biggest, especially here in America, you got to be the biggest simps on the planet. You punk, penny, simp-ass clowns. I'm going to tell you like it is. So Exodus 21:1. And matter of fact, I'm going to tell you what it is. And I'm going to read the scripture to show you what it is. Contracts, beginning with the birth certificate, make us slaves to this devil. Means that they're the masters. Means that whenever you get a wife, whether it's on the books or not, you get a woman, whether you sign a birth certificate, get married or not, and have children with that woman, guess what? The state is supposed to take care of that woman and her child if the marriage doesn't work. Now, why is that? Because the state, which really goes to the bankers, they own everybody. They're the masters. You see, right now, they're the slave owners. So they're the ones that's supposed to pay for that. But what do? They turn around and you're a slave anyway, but they turn around and make you pay what they're supposed to pay. So who's really the motherfucking deadbeat? Huh? Fucking assholes. Boy, I can't wait to get you Rothschild, all you devils, man. When the Lord give us that power, man, I pray I get some of you motherfuckers, man, because, woo, boy, you have no idea or no clue. The scriptures say that thine heart shall meditate terror. You ain't seen terror meditated as you're going to see once the Lord gets us back into power. You're doing a lot of wicked shit, a lot of brainstorming and doing a lot of this stuff. You ain't seen terror meditated according to the Bible, as it's going to be when the kingdom of heaven is established. You're going to wish that you was never born. Fucking devils. Exodus 21:1. And you women, man, boy, you women are going to be put down so fucking low. You're going to be put back in your fucking place, man. You're going to be put back in your place. And you're going to feel like a piece of shit that you are. You're going to want to try to be humble, Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I didn't know. Why are you doing this to me? Because you're a piece of shit, that's why. And you're in bed with this devil. And you get off when you see a man down in the dumps eating out of a fucking garbage can. You get off on that. A lot of you women, you break up with your man or vice versa, whatever the case is, and you want to see the man eating out of a garbage can. That's how much hatred you have for this man. But here it is, you cracked your legs for that man. You let him go up in you. But now that shit didn't work out, now you want to see the worst for that man. You're a fucking piece of shit. You women out there, man, Lord. Whoo. Anyways, Exodus 21:1. Salaki, but it has to be said. Now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. Remember, the scriptures are a contractual or a binding contract. It says, if thou buy an Hebrew servant, which we are Hebrews, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go out free for nothing, because he is a servant and he is working for you because he was in debt somehow, some way, and he needed to get out of that debt. That's why after the 6-year period that he worked for you, in the 7th year you would let him go free and you would give him provisions so that he can start his own thing. And this is why he worked for you as a servant, right? It says, if he came in by himself, meaning just him, he didn't have any children with him, he didn't have any woman with him, he came in by himself. It says, if he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. That's it. It says, if he were married, then his wife shall go out with him, right? If he came in to becoming a servant to the master, married to a woman already with children. If his master have given him a wife, and that's what happens here in the so-called United States. You get married before and the devil priest that gets up there, he said, by the power invested in me by the state of Michigan, not by the power invested in me from the Most High, by the state of such and such, by the state. Why do you think they say that? Because that is their God. That is in whom they trust. They don't trust in the Most High. They trust in the state. They trust in this God here of this world. That's why when the priest marries you, don't get married, you stupid bastards. Inside joke. But when the states marry you, the priest, who's supposed to be a man of God, a man of the cloth, he said, by the power invested in me by the state of New York, or by the state of Connecticut, or by the state of New York or New Jersey, so on and so forth. It's not by the power invested in by the Most High, because there's no ceremony where a priest will get up and join two people to get married. The scriptures speak about once a man lays down with a woman, if that woman ain't got no man, that becomes his wife. What do you think happened with Isaac and Rebekah? Now you had certain instances where you would have like a big feast, a wedding feast, but you didn't have no priest going there and I'll join you in matrimony and this, that, and then by the power invested in me by the city of Bethlehem. Come on, man. They weren't doing nothing like that. Okay? So it says, if his master have given him a wife, which is the case here. We just read in the 14th Amendment that, in the 13th and the 14th Amendment, that involuntary servitude would not be tolerated here in so many words. But it didn't say nothing about, voluntary servitude, And that voluntary servitude is what? Is contractual. All right? Some leaf or something fell on my head. It says, if his master have given him a wife, which they do here, because everybody is under contract. Everyone here is a slave, beginning with the birth certificate. All right? If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, while he was under his master's roof, under his master's rule, the master gave him, children, a wife, and with that wife he begot children, because that woman is a slave, just like the children are slaves, because they all belong to the master. Let's read that again for you slow-minded, tight-ass, punk penny, simp-ass clowns out there. Is that if his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him his sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. So if the wife and the children are the masters, who do you think is going to pay for that wife and children? The master. Because the man was a slave. The master gave him a slave wife. They had slave children. And if he decides after the 6 years he wants to cut out and break out to start his own thing, the wife and the children stay with the master. And the master takes care of the wife and the children. Is this not a God-fearing country? And do you not say in God we trust? You're supposed to establish your principles upon the Bible? Bunch of goddamn hypocrites. That's what you are. Got these women running these men ragged, man. With that racket. Fucking child support, alimony. What the fuck do the men get? They had to endure the same shit with that woman for however many years. How come that you never get alimony for men? How come men don't get child support in most cases? Every once in a while it happens. There's always an exception to the rules. But how come men as a whole don't get the same rights that women get? But then, women talking about, oh, we're not equal. We want equal pay. We want to be equal with the man. So how come them transgender women are kicking your ass in your sports? So how come this society is so against the man? Because it's a woman's society. This is a Queen of Heaven worship. This is a Diana of Ephesus putting a woman up on a pedestal. And everything is out of course. We're going to read some more of that, but let's go real quick to Jeremiah 31. No, I'm sorry, 30. No, it was 31. Salaki, my bad. 31 and 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. And that's why you see these women in the positions that they're in. You're not supposed to have women judges or women leaders. You're not supposed to have women lawyers. Like I went to the post office to mail something off for my mom the other day, right? And I'm in the post office, and the chick that comes from behind the counter to talk to a worker that used to work, he's retired now, she came out, she was talking to him, and you could see that feminist demonic vibe on her, And sure enough, she had to help me, and then she had like an attitude, But you could see that, and she picked up, and I was looking at her like you fucking bitch. She picked up on that. And that's probably why she gave me a hard time, but she had that real bossy, manly type, spirit, to where she's the shit. And then his stupid ass, he's retired, and he told the chick when he went to the counter, oh yeah, she used to be my boss. But you could see that spirit on these women, and that's on a lot of these women out here. They got that fucking bossy feminist spirit, think that they're better than men. You're going to be put back in your place, man. You're going to be put back in your place. Best believe that, Jack. So let's read that again. Exodus 21 and 4. If his master have given him a wife, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. All right? That's the deal. So you tight ass punk panty wearing simps, you know, you could go somewhere and kill yourself. Fucking pieces of shit. Sick of you fucking clowns too. Anyways, it says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. So this is if he said, I don't want to leave, because if I leave, I have the option to leave, but if I leave, I can't take my women and children with me, because he might be attached to them, you know. In some cases, some men said, fuck this, I'm out of here, man. You know, I got my freedom, you know. I love you, Betsy, but I got to go. Hey, tell your mama I ain't coming home no more. Inside joke. Oh, Lord. So it says, and if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall open him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an open. He shall serve him forever. And that's how you become a perpetual slave. All right? And that was the ancient world. So today, they went from contractual birth certificates, social security, you know, cards, you know, numbers and all that, you know, binding you to these adhesion contracts, getting into the new technology, you know, in the digital age, Internet of Things, connecting the emerging man with machine, you know, making everything go digital. And when they brought out the credit cards, everything worked fine. Now credit cards are starting to act up. People lose their credit cards, and you go and I don't know why it's taking so long. So they got what? They got shit where you can wave your phone or you can wave your card over, you know, a particular, a reader, and it reads the information on your card, takes off whatever it got to take off, or puts back whatever it got to put on. Everything is moving in the direction of digital. Yeah. Okay, digital. Why? Because ultimately they understand, they know the scriptures. Remember, Moses Amschel Bauer, which was the father of Amschel Bauer, he was a rabbi. All right? So they know the law back and forward. They know about the law of usury. It ain't like they're ignorant of it. They know about all of that. That's a good one too, right there, Elder Apostle. I just saw Psalms 94. I didn't know. Then I saw it was Elder Apostle Gabar. Shalom to the Elder Apostles, the Akim, the elders, bishops, and the Akwath that are sincere. Psalms 94:20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? And that's why the Lord said in James, the 5th chapter, you know, howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Talking about you rich men, you international bankers. You're going to howl because you are in authority. And what are you doing? You're not helping the people, which you have the power to do. You're oppressing the people. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 29. Y'all motherfuckers got me hot. Y'all motherfuckers got me hot out here, man. You know, so I can be a little facetious, but this is serious business, man. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. So that's good too. Yep, the CBDC, yep, the central bank digital currency. That's it. And that's why everything is moving in that direction. Oh man, damn. I gotta you know what? Let me hold on that precept. Wisdom of Solomon 2. Let me just hold on to that. We're gonna start at the 10th verse. All right, so let me just put that to the side. So let's go back. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. So the people are not in a joyous state of mind. People are catching hell, man. People are, especially Jake, some of them are barely able to pay their bills. It comes to the point where you have to decide, am I going to pay my cable bill or pay my rent or get some food for the house? That's how bad it's getting. But that's the what's the word I'm looking for? That's the effect of inflation. And this guy, the economist, you know, the epic economist, I believe he's called, he was speaking about prepare for hyperinflation. You know, you see in some places, you know, you go buy some steak, you got to pay like $250 for a goddamn piece of steak. But it's getting that way because the devaluing of the dollar. And the more they pump into the system, you boneheads out there thinking, oh, that's free money. Oh, good, man. Great gravy. Give me some more money. Give me some more. But you don't understand that they're giving you some more, appearance of more money, but what it is cheapening the actual currency that's backed by something which is not. So it's making things, it seems like prices are going up, but the dollar is going down. So therefore it takes more dollars to buy the thing that you might have bought 6 months ago for a set price. You might have paid for something $10 6 months ago. Today you're paying $20, $30, $40 for it. That's inflation. And then it's going to, and it keeps going. It's going to get into hyperinflation, which is going to be exponential growth. You know, like Elder Pastor had, told us about, the Weimar Republic. You know, when you went to the restaurants, they never had any prices on the menu because the price was based off of the time you went to go eat and the time you finished. So a meal could have been $200 when you started, and by the time you finish, it might have been $250 or $300. So that's where there was no prices. You know, it was all set upon the valuing of the Weimar Deutschmark, which eventually ended up crashing. And that's why it was cheaper for people to burn the actual paper money. It was cheaper for the people to actually pay for the burn the actual paper money, right, than to buy wood to burn. And that's where the dollar is heading. So let me read that the Elder Apostle. I'm gonna read that again. Let me just get to it. Psalms. Got Proverbs on the brain now. Psalms 94:20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law? So you're framing mischief by a law. You're oppressing the people. You're not going to continue on like that. The joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. You know? So Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. And we're going to come back to this. But another precept just came to mind. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, woe unto them. What is woe? Woe is destruction. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. What is a decree? It's a law, an unrighteous law. And what are some of the unrighteous laws that they putting out there? You know, this whole child support thing, alimony, just different things that they put. This feudal system, which is nothing more than a system based off of fees, taxes, then everything they do is just to oppress. From the actual money that they print, which they're supposed to coin, because there's nothing else but silver, gold and silver coins are supposed to really exist as a tender for purchase, in so many words. But what do? They have the big bright idea to create paper, which they pay hardly nothing for the paper, and then charge you whatever denomination they put on it. You see, backed by nothing. And that's why a lot of these countries around the world are backing away, from the dollar, the U.S. dollar, because it's losing its world reserve status, world reserve currency status worldwide. I see the numbers are going down to the viewers. That's good. That means that some of those simps, them tight, pink panty with a goddamn red heart on the back on the left ass cheek are leaving. Good riddance, you clown. Isaiah 10:1. Because not only these women are going down, you simps are going down too, man. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And that's what you did. When you prescribe something, it's pre-written. So there's something that you did previous, before it became an actual law. Because it comes into Congress as a what? As a bill. and the bill goes in for consideration, and then the Congress passes it, and when they pass it, then it becomes a law. You know, I'm just a bill, just I'm only a bill, and I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. That's back when they had some sort of I'll use the term loosely, education, you know, that was pushed out, you know, on TV. There was some sort of so-called education. You know, I use that word loosely. You know, back in the days, that was commercial when you would, watch, you know, the different cartoons and stuff like that. They would have certain stuff like that for learning. Not today, boy. Today you flip on the channel, you see alphabet soup everywhere. Motherfuckers. It says, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. And this is the reason why they do that. It's an oppression mechanism. All right? It's an oppression mechanism. Yeah, that's right. Schoolhouse Rock. That's right, Apostle. You know, it's a mechanism of oppression. And what is it for? It's these different laws and different decrees and different things that they make you agree to, so that you can, once you agree to it, you can't back out of it. And what happens is, yep, it's all a scam. And what happens is, you know, you start to lose your inheritance, because the price for things that you would normally get, what you could afford, you know, are going so high because of inflation, because of the devaluing of the dollar, that you have to go and dig into your savings to bring out your savings. And when that doesn't work, then you have to eventually sell your car, sell, you know, your goods, your toys, sell your house. And eventually, when that doesn't work, you have to sell yourself into captivity. Look what happened during the time of Egypt. You don't think they know about that story in Egypt and Joseph, and how the Egyptians came to sell themselves, you know, to Joseph as slaves so that they could be able to eat? They didn't sell themselves to Joseph as a slave for any other reason than to eat. You see, and this is why they got this stranglehold, you know, on the supply chain. It's not that there are no shortages. It's just a stranglehold, you know, bottleneck stranglehold, to make the stuff move very, very slow, so the shit can run out. People can start panicking. Then they can introduce more wicked legislation, because it's all about the MOTB at the end of the day. The MOTB is what they want to push on the world, to link everyone to the computer, whether in the hand, in the forehead, in the head, in the back, in the arm, in the leg, wherever. It's a mechanism of control. And once everything is online and you don't comply, then they can shut you out. And eventually, as the scriptures say, it's going to be voluntary at first, but towards the end, it's going to be mandatory. You see what they said with the jabs. Now they're mandating them all over the place. If you don't do this, you can't work here. But I thought it was voluntary. I thought they only wanted to get what, 70%, 70. They're well over that number. So why are they still pushing it? Because it's an agenda that they got for the whole world, you know. And something within that serpent's venom got something where it's going to link you with that with the MOTB, the chip, somehow, some way. All right. So it says, and this is why they do it, the oppressive things that they do with legislation. It says to turn aside the needy from judgment. See. And to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. This is why you got something called Jacob's trouble coming. Jacob's trouble is here, but it has not intensified to the level where it's going to get. It's going to get really, really bad out here. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 67. Behold, the Most High himself is the judge. Fear him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle no more with them forever. So we can get closer to the Lord, so he can get closer to us. You know, so that when all hell breaks down or breaks loose, we can be protected from the things that are coming upon this world. It says, to meddle no more with them forever, so shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. Did not Yahushua say, because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them? Why do you think that is? Because the men of the Lord are going to stand for the truth. Now you got sisters out there that's going to be taken care of, because they're in order to the best that they can be, just like we're in order to the best that we can be in the position that the Lord put us in. But the men are the ones out there doing the work, so the Lord can draw nearer to us and protect us from all the stuff that's going on. Hedge us. Remember how he had a hedge around Job? It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. And if this was really a righteous society, right? You see how I got that debt clock, and it keeps ticking and ticking and ticking and ticking and keep getting higher and higher and higher. They know the Bible. They call themselves, by the name of our people, the little hatters, 48ers, Why is it that every 7 years they don't wipe their debt out? Or every 50 years, during a year of release or the year of Jubilee? Why don't they wipe out the debt so that everybody can start off fresh? That's in the scriptures. Don't they claim to be the people of the Lord? How come they ain't doing that? They have the power to do it. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So why aren't they doing that? Because they are the wicked. That's the bottom line. So it goes on to say, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. So those of you Sambos that help these devils, you're gonna go down right along with them. Because when they need you, they move you right on out. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. There's going to be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Why? Because we are slaves, indebted to this country, which is really indebted to the bankers that own everything. And that debt clock going up, once they decide to call that debt in, that's it. It's over. Because they want their money. And what happens when people can't pay a debt? They become the commodity, of a slave to pay off that debt. Why do you think the Hebrew men or women, when they fell into poverty, they had to sell themselves to another Hebrew because they were in debt? And those 6 years, of work would have put them back into where they needed to be. But in this case, you had the oil, which would make a slave a perpetual slave for life. In this case, that would be, as Elder Apostle Tar coined, the digital oil, which is the chip. That's what they want to do it for. So it says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Yep. Now I'm going to go back to Wisdom of Solomon. This is a very good precept the brother put up. Wisdom of Solomon 2:10. I'm going to read that again. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged. Right? Because that's what they do. Let our strength be the law of justice. It's not about righteous laws or righteous decrees with these devils, as we've been reading. It says their power, let their strength be the law of justice. This is why King David said, break their teeth, O Lord. Because their teeth represent their power. Their horns represent their power. That's their strength. Deception. That's the strength of the serpent. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Because they look at the majority of the world as what? Useless eaters. That's a term they coined. Useless eaters. Look it up. Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn. And they know that. They know that we're not down for them. They know that we frown upon everything that they stand for. and he is clean contrary to our doings. That's right. He upbraideth us with our offending the law. And that's exactly what you do. You charge interest, which is nothing more than usury. You know the Bible inside out. You print them. The very man that said, "Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws," was a son to a rabbi, so-called rabbi. You don't become a rabbi, which means master, if you don't know the law. They know the law backwards and forward. It says, and objective to our infamy, to transgressing of our education. You know, and this stuff that they push out here is nothing but nonsense. That's why they're pushing for 5 to 11-year-olds to get the jab. They're pushing the alphabet soup community out there, you know, to push this agenda on the world. You know, push the agenda on the children, because the children are very impressionable, and they know whatever they see, they're gonna more than likely lean towards the child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart from it. So they're trying to get him at a very early age, because the older generations know better. So they know they're gonna have a harder time to push their agenda on the older generation. But the younger generation, they're in limbo. You know, as the elder apostle Rakat calls them, GMO babies. He professes to have the knowledge of the Most High, and he calleth himself the child of the Lord. He was made to reprove our thoughts. And that's why it says that the Lord shall consume him with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy him with the brightness of his coming. He is grievous unto us even to behold, for his life is not like other men's, his ways are of another fashion. And that's true. That's what the Lord said, you know, be not conformed to this world, through the mouth of the apostle Paul. Love not the world, neither the things that are of the world. Right? It says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. And that's exactly what they are. They're about as real as a $3 bill, or a $1 bill, or a $100 bill, or a $5 bill, or a $20 bill, or a $50 bill. Because they're all frauds, fiat currency. It says, we are esteemed of him as counterfeits. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. And that's exactly what it is. That's what the Lord's going to judge you. How? For your misery that shall come upon you, you goddamn devils. It says, he pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed. That's right. And it is going to be blessed. And maketh his boast that the Most High is his Father. He is our Father. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is our Father and our big brother. It says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. Yeah, and this is why they're going to come with the trials and tribulations. Yahushai said, you know, not to, let me get it real quick. Not to worry about, you know, the things that we're going to suffer. For the devil shall cast some of you into prison that you may be tried. You know, be thou patient unto death, and I will give thee life, or be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. And they know this. They know that what we're saying is true. They know who the prophets are. They know who the people of the Lord are. They know that what we're saying out here is the truth, but they don't want it out. All right. So it says, let us see if his words be true, and let us prove what shall happen in the end of him. That's why you're going to have the different martial laws and the detention centers and things of that nature. For if the just man be the son of the Most High, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. That's why the Lord, because the Lord said also, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh his enemies to be at peace with him. You know, but in this case, this is going to be an onslaught, an insurrection, you know, that the Lord is going to place upon Jacob. But the elect are going to be delivered out of that trouble. It says, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. And the Lord is going to put that spirit in his elect. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. When the time comes, the Lord is going to turn the frequency up. Full throttle for the elect. If at all possible, they should deceive the very elect, but they can't, because they are the elect. That's what we say we're the hopeful elect. Let us condemn him with a shameful death, for by his own sayings he shall be respected. Such things that they imagined and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them. That's right. You didn't consider your latter end, dog. As for the mysteries of the Most High, they knew them not. That's why they can't break the Bible now. They can go to they can go to the law and read the law and get the law. They can go to history and break down certain things and prophecy with the history. They can read the New Testament and quote it and all that, but they can't break down the mysteries of this book. Because surely the Lord power would do nothing, but he revealed the secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And they ain't nothing but the Edomites. They are not the prophets of the Lord. They are not the people of the Lord. They are the people of the Most High's curse. That's as far as it goes. It says, neither hope they for the wages of righteousness. Yeah, because they're not, they're storing for themselves physical wages. We're storing for ourselves spiritual wages. It says, nor discerned a reward for blameless souls. For the Most High created man to be immortal and made him to be an image of his own eternity. And that's what we're coming back to. Nevertheless, through envy of the devil came death into the world, and they that do hold of his side do find it. Yeah. And those of you that consent with these devils, you're going to be brought down very, very low. Now, I pray that your brothers and your few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say, Shalom.